Hey everybody, welcome to the Happiness Show, which is a show all about passion, purpose and happiness. And I'm really proud and excited today to be hosting the incredible Dr. Austin Jeans, who's a sports medicine doctor here in Zimbabwe. And he's recently taken on a really interesting slant in his field. So Austin, would you like to tell us just a little bit about what you do and what you're specializing in at the moment?
Okay, so my area of medical speciality is in sport and exercise medicine, and I have been a sports medicine physician for 25 of my 32 years as a qualified medical practitioner.
Wow.
But in the last 4 years, I have ventured into the area of nutrition. In many ways, I have returned to the world of nutrition as an intervention for both the prevention and treatment of what we call the diseases of lifestyle, the big problems that the world faces today, diabetes, type 2, obesity, heart disease, cancer. These are all diseases that have strong links to, if not being directly caused by and influenced by the way that people eat. And the evidence is strongly suggestive now that we unfortunately have been eating far too much sugar and refined carbohydrates in our diet for the best part of the last 35 years or so. And as a consequence of that, we've seen the amount of these diseases worldwide growing exponentially. And so I believe that in medicine we've got to return to our role as health practitioners and perhaps move away to some extent. We've become pharmaceutical drug practitioners in many ways. We seem to have a pill to treat everything, and we've forgotten that many of these problems have their roots in how people eat and what they eat. And that's really what I'm on about now.
Incredible. I totally agree with that way of thinking, because I believe in the holistic view of health and happiness, and that it's all about the mind, body and soul. And we all know nowadays, especially, there's a lot more research coming out with the connection between the gut and the mind, and
Absolutely.
how what you eat affects how you think, your energy levels and your body. So incredible that you're making some progress and some changes in this area, because I think it is so important in the world.
There are big changes, and there's a really big medical lobby now worldwide of forward-thinking doctors who have probably all had an epiphany moment at some point in time in the last couple of years. And so, you know, there's a very loud chorus. In South Africa, many people are aware of the impact that Professor Tim Noakes, who was a mentor of mine at university, has very kindly written the forward to a book that's coming out very soon. And Tim is a very loud voice in South Africa. I want to become the voice of Zimbabwe in this respect. And there are people like me in the medical profession making the same amount of noise in every country in the world. It's growing. In my view, it will become the medicine of the next 5 to 10 years, but we're at the tipping point where we still have, in a way, older thinking and older research, old school nutrition and old school dietary advice, unfortunately to a large extent perpetuated by the dietary guidelines that come out of public health authorities. But big change is here, and big change is on its way.
Well, that's really exciting, and I'm a big advocate for what you teach. So I'm really excited to see the progress that you're going to roll out in Zimbabwe. But just to get to know you a little bit more, and as everybody knows, this show is all about passion, purpose and happiness. And you're a real passionate guy. You can really see that you love what you do, and you're passionate about
I'm
making
a happy
a difference.
guy too.
And you're a happy guy, yeah. So how did you come to be in the field that you're in, and how did you find that passion for what you do?
All right, well, I've been qualified in medicine for a very long time. So as young as I look, I have been qualified for 32 years now. I was a very active sportsman at the elite level as a youngster, and medicine was the career that I chose given my academic leanings at school. So once I'd qualified in medicine and I had an initial phase of my career in trauma medicine and internal medicine and cardiology, the opportunity actually came up at the University of Cape Town in 1990. They introduced the first sports medicine postgraduate training program for doctors in Africa. And that was a leaning of mine, but we didn't have that opportunity to do that type of specialist training up to the point, other than in places like Australia and the United States. And so yeah, I kind of jumped ship in a way out of conventional specialities and went off to do that course, and that got me started on my passion, which was the combination of sport, which has been an integral part of my personal life for years, into the professional level of integrating that into medicine. So sport and exercise medicine became my speciality of the last quarter of a century. And the recent venture into nutrition is in no way a deviation from that. I still do what I do.
It's holistic, right?
It's an extension of that now, because sport and exercise is about health.
Yeah.
It's not only about athletes. I have a lot of athletes that I look after, but also look after non-athletic people who are endeavouring to do exercise for their health, and they might be having problems with that. So very much I'm now and have been practicing my passion, which is a great opportunity in medicine. A lot of my colleagues do things that they don't particularly enjoy that much, but because they're doctors, they do what they do. And I think I'm very privileged to have found an area of medicine which is a blend.
Absolutely, and I think it's key to note there that from a young age you had that passion for sport, and you played sport at a high level, and then you've integrated that sport passion into your academic knowledge and that side of things. So it's a nice combination and integration.
Yeah, I think it's very good. I also think that when people have insight from previous experience and exposure, you can apply that to a lot more keenly in what you do. And I remember having this discussion at the University of Cape Town that we pretty much said that good sports medicine doctors will be probably the medical professionals who were athletes themselves, because you have insight into all the dimensions in terms of training, performance, getting injured. What is it like to get injured? What is the whole psychological fallout from getting injured, and what strategies to use? So people who have had athletic experience and exposure are going to be good at what they do. If they apply that as a coach or as a doctor or as a physiotherapist, it's a big plus.
Okay, brilliant. Really nice story how you've grown in your field. And in terms of your purpose, Austin, I know that like you said, you want to be the voice for this leading movement of nutrition, specifically in Zimbabwe, but what about the rest of the world? I know you've got some big goals and dreams to kind of share your message with the rest of the world. What is your purpose from here on in?
In terms of the purpose of using nutrition and low carbohydrate, healthy fat nutrition as a major medical instrument, as I said, there's global noise from key thought leaders around the world, and I want to be part of that. I am part of it now. What we've all realized is that while things are evolving, our impact is going to be limited in some respects if we're only dealing with patients one-on-one in our rooms, or the opportunity to do lectures where you have an audience of 20 or 30 or 50 people. At the end of the day, we want to make a bigger impact, and so one of the reasons I've written the book that's coming out soon
this
is
baby right
that
here?
baby right there, which is 3 years in the making.
Wow, 3 years.
It joins.
It is a big book.
It's a big book. Yeah. That's why it took 3 years.
The Low Carb Companion.
It joins a host of similar publications coming at it from different dimensions, from other very professional thought leaders worldwide. But the idea behind it is there's a couple of points. One is that we're able to give our own patients one-on-one something to take away and get a greater body of knowledge behind what we've been able to impart. But more importantly, we see that our footprint will grow because we can influence more people beyond those we can directly interact with. That people can access this type of knowledge in this type of form. We are going to see a bigger response from people at an individual level, from populations at population level. And also one of the reasons I wrote this is that my medical colleagues also are looking for information and updated science on this, which is not always readily available. It's easy to be stuck in the old science. So I'm hoping to be able to influence not only my own colleagues who will be able to influence their own footprint of patients, but we want to influence people beyond the one-on-one to make a bigger difference in a short period of time. Because if we don't do this, the world faces absolute epidemics of type 2 diabetes and obesity, and they're not going away, they're getting worse. And we know that most national health structures in the next 15 to 20 years will buckle under the very weight that these diseases are going to impose on those countries. And if we don't take the kind of actions that we proposed in this particular book, we are going to be in trouble.
Good. So I love that purpose, that you wanting to make a difference and influence a greater number of people on what they should be doing to help themselves live a happy and healthy life.
Absolutely.
Right? And they can prevent a lot of the disease or a lot of unhealthiness that is a result of how we're eating it in our current
And we can
lifestyle.
prevent it at a young level. I've just embarked on a program of talking to parents at schools now, and the schools here in Zimbabwe have started to put the audience of their own parent body together, and I've been doing some of these talks, because there again, if I can influence parents, I can influence how they feed their children.
Yeah.
So we can stop these diseases in their tracks before they even get started. Then that's going to be the imprint and the impact that's going to make a difference 15, 20 years from now.
Brilliant. Well, I love that purpose that you have.
Good.
And Austin, just talking then lastly about happiness. So you are always this happy, interesting guy, always with a smile on your face, with some sort of forward-thinking mentality. So how do you create that in your life? How are you coming to be so happy, and how can other people
Happiness is
learn
a
from
very multifactorial phenomenon, isn't it? So
Yes.
at the end of the day, I think one of the main things is you've got to have purpose, isn't it? You've got to wake up in the morning with purpose, and I've been very privileged my entire life that the medical care of people has been my primary purpose in many different dimensions. So, I mean, that gets me up every morning, because there's people to go and see and to meet and to experience and hopefully to help them in whatever their problem is, medically or health-wise. So that's a really big one. I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful family, so I think the family environment is good. And also, I don't sit idle. I want things to do. I'm very active from a sporting point of view. I'm very involved in national sporting bodies here, and international sport that Zimbabwe is involved in. In fact, I'm fortunate enough to be going to the Rio Olympics in
Amazing.
2 weeks' time with the Zimbabwe team, which is already amazing privilege for me.
Lots of happiness there.
Lots of happiness there, and then the bottom line is, it's about having new things to do. I think keeping the brain creatively active. We've heard of neuroplasticity, keeping brain cells growing as an adult, is really important, and just the research involved in this particular venture has been, wow, exponential in terms of what I've had to
Probably
read
growing
and put
so much
together.
smarter.
Absolutely. And the interaction with like-minded people, you know what, that keeps me happy, because it gets me up in the morning. There's so many things to do, and I think that's what people need to do. They need to get up in the morning with so many things to do, hopefully more things than they can actually do today, so there's more left tomorrow. And it's about doors. Every time you open one door in this area of nutrition, there are 10 ahead of you, and I struggle in the day that I think I've got to get all these next 10 doors open, and I can't, because I know when I get through one of them, there's another 10 here, and I haven't got to visit the other 9 yet. So it's a wonderful experience to be involved at an academic and scientific level in this kind of venture, and to apply it at the human level. I'm not having to do the research on rats and rodents and mice. It's not my area. Thank goodness there are people who do that, otherwise we wouldn't learn so many things. My job and role in life is to influence people, and that keeps me happy.
I love that. So key things then for happiness is having purpose for life. So a reason to wake up in the morning. Developing your relationships, so having good quality relationships with people around you, and then, like you said, being active and doing something new, getting out of the house and having something to do.
And being healthy, Tim. The main driving message for me is the maintenance of health. Things can happen to people that are out of your control, but there's a lot of what we do in life that influences our health, and our health, in my opinion, is key to happiness. If you're unhealthy, you're unhappy.
Your health feeds your brain,
Absolutely.
which feeds your thoughts, which feed
it's a vibrancy, it's an energy. Healthy people are happy and vibrant by and large, and so that's a major contributor. And if you're not in a negative situation, you're going to struggle.
Okay, brilliant. Well, some really useful and interesting tips there. I met Austin probably a few years ago, but probably a couple of weeks ago, where I did a talk at Rolf Valley on happiness. And that's when we started brainstorming on an idea to bring happiness and health together. So Austin, I, and Debbie, his wife, and Mona Cummings have a very exciting happiness and health retreat coming up on this here at a Munzi Lodge at this beautiful location. I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's some tennis going on in the background, so healthy people active in the background. We've got the pool on the left of us, and this is actually where we're going to be doing our workshops on happiness, health, food, nutrition, low carb in your pantry. We're going to have actually book signings and giveaways of this amazing low carb companion by obviously Dr. Austin Jeans right there. So very exciting from that point of view. And we also will have some fun stuff like wine tasting and quizzes and giveaways and competitions. So it's going to be a real action-packed day where you can just literally take a retreat down the road and really come and increase the dose of happiness and health in your life. So if you guys are interested, please look on below the video at more details that we have to offer you there. And you can also stay the night and have more health, happiness and exercise and yoga and all of that in the morning. So there is 2 options there for you.
And you get to meet Tammy Hisler, which is very important. That'll make you happy.
Of course,
yeah.
Yes. Happiness is what I do, and I will obviously be doing 2 workshops on happiness. But for me, really, the important thing is the holistic view, which is the health, happiness, in terms of the mind, body, and soul view. So I'm really, really excited about it, and I'm also excited to hear from you, Austin, about how to be even healthier in my life too. But is there anything else that you'd like to share, Austin, about your book or about what you're doing?
Maybe just to say a few words about the book and how it's constructed, because as I said, there's a lot of books out there.
Yes.
So what we've done in this one is I've tried to provide 2 messages, and one is why people should be reconsidering the way that they eat, and that's not only feeding themselves but their children and mums when they're pregnant. And it's directed and has chapters specific to people who have diabetes, both type 1 and type 2, people who suffer from cancer, and athletes who are looking at maybe a new scientific leverage point in their sports nutrition. So there's a whole chapter for that. So there's chapters about why we should be re-looking at nutrition and considering a lower carbohydrate, higher healthy fat nutrition. But then I also know from the experience we've had in the last couple of years, people also want to know how. And so the second section in the book is quite an extensive, and I put it on the front here, there's over 250 recipes.
Wow.
Because people need to have a look at, well, if I can't eat the white bread, then what do I use for toast? So we've shown them what do we substitute it with, and that's something we're talking about on Saturday at the retreat as well. So how do you make low carbohydrate bread? How do you make low carbohydrate desserts for the children? How do you make low carb ice cream?
Brilliant.
A lot of the main courses, not a big difference, but it's about what oils are used, what's healthy, what's unhealthy. And so there's a lot of the how in here as well. So how do you prepare food for yourself and for your family that is consistent with a lower carbohydrate, healthier fat intake for better health? So
brilliant, and I love that you include that how and that those 250 recipes, because I think a lot of people associate being healthy with starving or eating vegetables that I don't like or cutting out the sugar completely, but it's about really just substituting what.
This is a very happy nutrition program. You eat as much as you like, you can eat when you like. It's the what that we have some advice about in terms of people with specific problems. We're trying to deal with those problems, weight issues, cardiac disease, heart disease issues, and then people who just want to keep themselves healthy. This is not a nutrition program just for people with problems. It's a nutrition program for everybody to make them healthier and happier.
Oh, amazing. Well, I'm so excited for my copy, for my exclusive signed copy of this book.
Absolutely.
So make sure that you guys all get your hands on one this weekend by coming along to the retreat. But then, Austin, I know obviously some people also might want to know more about specifically a one-to-one come and see you about their health and nutrition and exercise. How can they go about doing that?
Sure. We run a nutrition program at the Centre for Sport and Exercise Medicine in Hull Valley, and so we have specific programs for people with weight issues and challenges and people with type 2 diabetes. So that's a program that can be accessed through the Sport and Exercise Medicine Centre at Hull Valley Sport and Health.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I'm sure that there is a lot of benefits to doing that, so I know that I would definitely be interested as well, just to make sure that I'm being at my optimal level of health and happiness. So really cool.
Perfect. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you so much, Austin, for being on my show and for sharing your passion, your purpose and your happiness with us. And of course for showcasing your book. I think, like you said, it's just come out, so it's like hot off the press. So
It's my new baby.
it's your new baby.
It's my new baby.
What about if someone wants to get hold of it in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's going to roll off the printing presses by the end of this week. It's going to be available at Royal Valley Sport and Health, Innovate High Performance Centre, gyms, and then it will be available at the bookshops in Harare. Most know the common bookshops and almost definitely in some of the supermarkets as well. We're just about to roll that program out, but it's going to be widely available.
Okay, brilliant.
So people will be able to find it, and the media will be letting people know where that is.
And what about if they're outside of Zimbabwe?
Yeah, it's actually already published on Amazon
Brilliant.
in both e-book Kindle version and in print version. So people outside the country at the moment, it's available on Amazon as people would do by order online. And then at the moment we're just currently investigating distribution into South Africa as a printed version, and we will hope to give people updates on that quite soon.
Okay, awesome. Very, very exciting, and congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
And thank you everybody for watching the Happiness Show again. And if you have any questions about what we've discussed today, the book, or about Dr. Austin Jeans and what he does, please feel free to get in touch with me or comment on the video below and I'll get back to you. But make sure you check out more information about the Health and Happiness Retreat. So thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye!